What is going on? It is July 4th. Just want to say to everyone a happy July 4th. Hope you are all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Patrick, and this is Everyday Tech for everyday people. And on my channel, I do a lot of tech reviews, videos on just tech in general, gadgets, anything around the house, anything that's common. And if it's a little bit more nerdier, I would say, or if I think it's something that might fall under a different category, I'm going to do a series called Not So Everyday Tech, but it still allows me to do some things I'm interested in all kinds of things. And today, if you notice my backdrop, this is something I've been doing in my I did this in Lita, which is live every day in August, or was that April? That was April. And so that was something I was just doing. So I'm doing the rotating lights. So I can't just decide on one, right? So let's see who's here. Hey, Ashley. Happy 4th of July, but you're Canadian, but just know that we're all celebrating here. There's a lot of fireworks. Of course, I live in Philly, and there's been fireworks probably since the past couple of months, and I know you guys just celebrated Canada Day as well. So 4th of July is especially big in Philadelphia. If you don't know, this is the birthplace of the United States here. But yeah, there's a lot of history here. I like to say there's a lot of old things here. I am a transplant here from Southern California, so I am an outsider in that sense. But yeah, let's see. I talked about my backdrop here. Oh yeah, I have a new kind of. I turned my desk around as well. So last time I was facing this wall over here to my left. But yeah, today it's going to be, I always say this is going to be a short one, and it's going to be a short one. Probably even shorter today. I wanted to do this in OBS. I'm using Ecamm right now, but I just didn't have time we just did a lot of yard work today, and my wife and I, and we just didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough time to just set things up here. So yeah. So if you have any questions, let me know about anything. But let me just let you know of what is going on. I'm not going to share my screen today, but let me see if I can pull it up and see if I can make it pretty easy to share here. But I did film 2 videos, and last week I think I went over my different setup here, and so I talked about my workflow. Sorry, I'm just like all over the place. I'm trying to manage a couple of things at once, getting used to. This is why I do this every week, to get better at this. And I have at least two viewers right now. I have Ash and I have Robert. Please check out both of their channels, please, and I hope they would comment after this live stream, so you can link right to their channels. But even if I only have nobody, I'm still just gonna practice every week, inspired by Coffee Talk and Tech, John over there, and then Jeff as well. They do a great stream Tuesdays and Thursdays. Jeff's is on Tuesdays. I'm gonna link everything in the description below as well after this, including to Ashley and Robert's channels as well. But so this is why I'm practicing and hoping I'm getting better. I don't know if you can hear fireworks in the back, but they're gonna be going on all night, and they've been going on pretty much the whole month. But okay, so let's get back to. Let's see if I can get my Notion up here. Where are my scenes here? I'm gonna attempt to, let's bring this into live program or preview mode here, and I'm gonna let's see, I am now setting up my screen live on video here, so don't mind me. But I'm going to share with you my Notion, and there's a reason why, because I want to give you kind of an insight of how I make these videos a week. And my channel is mainly not a live stream type of video, but it is, how do I say this? It is mainly just recorded content, and so that's okay. But I do want to get better at this live stuff, and I have some ideas of how I'm gonna be doing some of the live stuff as well. Okay, I think I have it ready here. I am gonna go into Notion, but before I do that, I saw my wife left because we were in studio hanging tiles, and you mentioned moving stuff. I am constantly moving stuff and constantly changing stuff. Let me just tell you a little story. When I was younger, I had my own room. This is maybe junior high. I would do this, and I would just constantly move the furniture around. I just needed a change of things, and I love the idea of just having things changed up, and it's just when I was younger too, and I'm sure Robert, you're the same way too. But like, even when you were younger, but I just love the change. I love when when people get new haircuts. I just like that new. It's like a fresh look. Not that there was anything wrong with them before. Nothing that there's anything wrong with my setup. I just like just kind of a fresh look. But anyway, let me get back to my Notion here setup. So as you can see, I went over this last week, but this is the calendar of, on the left side here, of a calendar of what I've been, how do I say it, working on. So that's what I've been working on, or that's what I've released. So I just did one on Vipon, which is a discount site, right? But I have nothing yet for this week, and I will have something here. But on the right side are things that I have not released yet. So these are either ideas or there's things that I'm working on already. So I already talked about a couple last week. I said I was going to release my Notion live stream, or Notion, beginning of Notion video, but I really wanted to do that. Like, I'm taking my time on that because I really want to do it right, and I just don't want to do it haphazard, right? But so I have these different statuses, and as I was doing one of these videos, I did something. I came up with an idea. So I want to do something on the USB-C standard, and you'll realize why that could be for everyday tech people. It sounds boring, but this is a thing that will get confusing for people as everything moves into USB-C more. But I have all these ideas. Every time I have an idea, I just jot it down, right? I have one on my grill. I grilled today, and I showed off my PTZ camera last week, and then I'm going to do on Raspberry Pis. So different things like that. So if you look at the statuses of these things, the different statuses I have, if I'm really thinking about it, I'm brainstorming. And then sometimes I just start writing them down. Not everything I record or do videos on, I write down necessarily. Sometimes I just do it right on the fly. But a lot of times I either script out the whole thing, and I do have a teleprompter, but I don't necessarily use it all the time. But at least I script out the whole thing, or I outline it. And so most of the time I do script it out. So that's my writing. Once I have it written, then I'm like a quarter of the way there. What I really want to get to is this stat, filmed. And once I get things filmed, I feel like it's the biggest relief for me, because editing for me is something easy in that sense. I don't know if that makes, it's like once I get into the editing mode, like I'm golden, like because there's not too much steps. I think it's something I enjoy. I enjoy the editing more than the filming. So once I get the filming done, it's a big relief, and I can go to editing, and I can have a couple things filmed and get everything edited down like right away. So yeah. Yeah, this is why we all get along very well. We all have this. We're all struggling the same way, right? Um, because I remember Ashley mentioned it to her in her stream as well. She's an introvert, although you'll never think of it because she's so great on camera. And there's some who are just hard. They just have a hard time filming. And I'm very much an introvert, right? But someone like John and Jeff, they're great in front of the camera actually. And you could tell John is like a natural at it. But I this is just getting out of my comfort zone every time I film, right? Yeah, it's just you're a blend of introvert and extrovert. But you did say you're an introvert, so you kind of identified that more, and I could see that. And actually, when I get into this kind of settings, or when I'm doing, yeah, I used to do wedding photography and just still photography, and I think 75% of filming or doing wedding photography is people skills, because you got to gather everyone together doing all these things. And so um and 25% is like actually photography skills. Maybe 20% is photography skills, 5% is artistic. I don't know. Anyway, but I would say a good amount, my point is a good amount of that is people skills. And I'm not necessarily a people person, but once I'm into that setting, then I'm a different person. That's why afterwards, after a wedding, I'm gone the next day, because it's just like I've gone out of my element the whole day and I'm tired doing it. So, but anyway, back to filming, back to my notion here. As you can see, I have two things that are filmed, and I've been wanting to do this get ahead, because I'm really another fireworks. I'm releasing one video a week, but I'm trying to film at least 2 or 3 so I can get ahead of the schedule, get ahead of the game, because especially I'm going on a trip. I've mentioned this a couple times, but I am going on a trip. I'm leaving next week. I don't know if I'll be able to do a whole video then, because we have tons of family there. I will do a live stream at least once while I'm there, but to record a video on something, I feel more comfortable in my office here. So I'm trying to get I have 2 here. That means I have 1 this week and 1 next week ready. I'm trying to do another 2 this week, or 3. And that way there will only be at most a week, 1 week gap. So yeah. So let me tell you, so you can see there's 2 things that are said filmed here. There's my Keurig K Supreme. So I have a Keurig coffee mug that I got, and I just wanted to do videos on everything, like everyday things. So that's one thing that I use every day, and a lot of people use them. And so anyway, long story short, I had 2 Keurig coffee makers that broke within a year. Like the latest one broke in 2 months, but I was able to get a refund on it, or a replacement. And Keurig sent me one. Wasn't not the one before that broke, lasted for a year actually, and then we replaced it with the Keurig one, but the Keurig one broke in within 1 or 2 months. But Keurig was nice enough to send me a replacement, but they didn't replace it with that one. They replaced it with a really nice model. So I said, "Whoa, let's see how nice this one is." And so I did a quick review on it. So you'll be able to see my kitchen in that sense. So I'm going to try to mix things up. But the other thing I did was on a USB-C hub. And so if you have a MacBook Pro or MacBook Air after 2016, you have 2 USB-C ports on each side. And so this is my Anchor one. And so I love this Anchor one. See if it's going to, yeah, it's not gonna want to focus, because it's a little too plain, not much contrast. Anyway, because it's really doing autofocus here. But this is my 7 and 2, because there's 2 ports here, USB-C adapter. But I bought one, a cheap one. Actually, I used Vipon as a discount code to get one. And I thought I was going to I was going over all the reviews. Like, I was doing my intro, I was doing all these things. Then I got to testing. Then I realized that this product sucked. So, not to give away the ending here, but anyway, you get what you pay for. So like I had to change my video altogether. Really, I should have done the testing first. Well, if I wanted, I did an unboxing, so I didn't leave that. That's not going to be in the final video, but if I'm going to do things in order, I'm going to do an unboxing. Then I'm going to do the testing first, just to make sure the product actually works. And then I can do all the intro stuff. So I had all this intro stuff, and I was talking about USB-C, all these different things, how I paid only like a fourth of the price. Even I paid a fourth of the price of this one. I still would rather get this one in the end. So I immediately returned it. So lesson learned, right? I am just trying to work on my workflow, trying to work on the structure. That's one of the things that with live streaming pros in Lita, that's one of the things they had mentioned is to have a structure. So anyway, so that's been my filming this week was last week was these two ones. So I'm probably going to release my USB-C hub this week, and then the Keurig coffee maker next week, or whatever comes out, whatever I film this week. Maybe I'll jump ahead. So I don't really care as far as order is concerned with these videos, but that's how my workflow is going, and it's going pretty well. So I'm very happy with my workflow. What am I trying to say? As I'm happy with that workflow that I have there, and it's getting better. So anyway, I've been rambling along, but if you are watching this on the replay, or if you happen to be live and you're not subscribed yet, I'd appreciate if you do subscribe. I am trying to eventually get to my next goal is to get to 400 subscribers. I'm going to just say it now. My goal is to try to get there by the end of the year. So if you can definitely subscribe, that would be a really appreciated. Tell your friends. Well, okay. Maybe not that go that far. Just tell them about my channel and let them decide whether to subscribe or not. Yeah. So that's all that's been going on. I think this week I will do a video on my Raspberry Pi, and I don't think I'm gonna get it by the end of the month. By the way, the subscriber count has been growing steadily, but it's kind of slowed down. But maybe I set my goals too low. But I think it's a good goal, because remember at the beginning of the year, I don't know if you remember, I set it at 300, and like I got it at 300 by the half a year, but I was already at like 200. So, or I was at only like less than 200. But anyway, again, I'm not getting caught up too much in the stats, but okay. So here's what, let me give you a little bit of context as far as how my channel is going. It's the type of channel I have, and kind of my strategy as far as, okay, so I picked the most generic name for a channel, Everyday Tech. And hey, thanks Robert for coming by. Always appreciate you, and looking forward to seeing stuff on your channel as well. And so thanks for stopping by. But I picked the most generic channel, and I did that on purpose, actually. And even if when you try to look up Everyday Tech, all these channels come up before mine, even before they have like one video or 0 videos, no subscribers. There's no rhyme or reason to that, right? I'm not sure. Maybe I have to do something more in my about section or something. Maybe more. It just doesn't make sense why those ones show up before me. But anyway, I've been growing organically. I mentioned it to my Facebook friends, Facebook friends, like I generally have a lot of friends on there, but I have a lot of people that I'm acquaintances with. And Facebook these days don't it doesn't give me that much traction anyway. There wasn't a big push from the I have 1,000 friends, Facebook friends, but like not everyone really listens, and it's part of it is Facebook, like it's how they market themselves sometimes. So, or it's how they're set up in that sense. Um, but yeah, that. So I was back to my story of my channel here. So then I have I have this generic channel. I've been able to grow it, but my purpose was to make content that was, I forgot the term for it, but it doesn't always have to be of the latest thing, right? It's not newsworthy content necessarily, but it's content that is like reviews that people that'll stay on YouTube for a long time, right? It'll live on YouTube for a long time, so people will be searching for it. So like but I do it on random things, right? Because if you do it like on iPhones, like if I should have done one on the iPhone 12, and that would have given me a lot of views, right? But eventually, my review on the iPhone 12 the views will dwindle down to 0, right? Because it's one of those products where it eventually there's a shelf life for it. But there are things like this USB-C hub. This is the Anchor one. I did one on a generic one, but maybe I'll do one on this one because this is one thing that people will continue to search for. It'll be useful even years later. And so one of my top videos, if not my top video, is on my 35-inch ultra-wide monitor here. And people are searching for it. Partly is because there's not many reviews on this. Actually, I might be one of the few that do reviews on this. But this monitor constantly goes on sale, and people are always looking for it, no matter how old it is, because it's a good budget monitor. It's a good valued monitor, right? People are always looking for a budget. So every time it goes on slick deals, on sale, my views just start skyrocketing for some reason, right? And then the other thing is every time I do a Mac review, so I did one on my M1 Mac Mini here. I did one on an update on Mac OS. I did one on anything related to Mac. Always gets a lot of views, which I love. That's good. But there's only so much Mac things I can buy or afford. If I can afford the latest of everything, that'd be awesome. Or if I could find someone who just bought the latest of something and let me borrow it, like my views and my subscriber count would like exponentially grow. And so those are the kind of things. But so I want to do a mix of those. So, I have my views are up and down, but I want to see the trend slowly go up, right? So I'll have these bumps, but then I want my plateau to, like, my baseline to be a little bit higher every time. And so when I first started, I was happy to get, because when you look at your analytics, it says how many concurrent users or how many views you've had the last 48 hours. Sometimes I go, okay, I want to at least have 200 the last 40 hours, meaning 100 views a day. And when I was doing the M1 Mac Minis, when I was doing Mac OS update videos, I almost got up to 1,000 in a 48 hour period, right? So I had 500 views, and that was that way for a week, and it went down. But then I did one on my iPhone 12 case, which I've said is one of my highest viewed videos, together with my 35-inch monitor here. And that was giving my views were at a constant like 300 or 400 views a day, right? So it's not just about views of course. Um, but it's not all always about the analytics, but at the same time, you kind of want to see what works, what kind of progress you're making. So yeah, so that's how that's going. And then so right now it's back down to about 150 views, 150 to 175 views a day, which is fine, you know. And so I am happy where I'm at, and you know, I'm just continuing to grow. And so let's see, I'm average right now last year 200 400 views in 48 hours. That's awesome, right? And that's and those videos are just, you know, you slowly creep up as far as subscriber counts are concerned. um, you know, ultimately we want to get to that 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, and to get monetized basically. But you know, ultimately what my view is, these first 100 videos right now at least, I'm just going to do whatever I can think of and do every kind of video. Let me go back to my Notion thing here, and this is one of the things I wanted to also highlight as well. Where are my overlays here? And one of the things I wanted to highlight here was the fact that okay, so I have two filmed here, right? And that means if I have like 3 or 4 things filmed, that means that I will have time to do some B-roll and do extra transitions and do different things like that. That's what I would love to do. I know John talks a lot about, he wants to do some speed ramps for certain things. And so for me, I put myself on this schedule to get one video out a week. And so that's my main goal first. But first, then I would like to have 3 or 4 things ready to go. But before I release them, at least 3 or 4 things filmed actually. And before I release it or edit them, maybe have time to go back and do some more B-roll and more transitions, more of a intro, put more music into it. Some of my 3 or 4 of my videos have a little bit of music. So so those are the kind of things I'm working on slowly and getting there. So yeah. Yeah, other than that, I don't have too much today. If anyone else, I think Ash is still watching, of course. Anyone else watching, but other than that, yeah, I will probably live stream one more time next week before my trip, and then I might do a vlog style filming of my trip. I've done it many times, but not released anything. But yeah. That might be on my personal channel that I've had for a while, that I don't really care about, that I just do it for friends and family, and haven't really done anything with it. But if I do, then I'll refer to it or link to it in one of my live streams. But this is going to be the first time traveling since the pandemic started, and traveling with 2 kids. So my daughter is 7, my son is 5. And the main thing is, you know, they're not vaccinated yet. And this is not a statement on vaccinations or not. I believe in vaccinations. And until my kids are vaccinated, it's like you don't have this we're not fully, you know, there's always this trepidation. They are going back to school. My son will be starting kindergarten. And so we are anticipating and happy that they're going back in person. They were all virtual. At least my daughter was all virtual this past year and a half of school actually. And so we're happy that she's going to be able to go back, and happy my son is able to start kindergarten that way as well. But at the same time, until they're fully vaccinated, there's just always this little bit of fear. So flying is the same way, but at the same time, we hadn't seen family in California for a while. So I'm going to probably film that experience, and how much, whether I release it as like a tech type of video, maybe there's some tech angle to it. I'll release that and just let everyone know how traveling across the country is. And one of the videos that did very well on my personal channel, and I've mentioned this to other live streams, was I did a video on packing for Spirit Airlines. If you don't know what Spirit Airlines is, it's a budget airline here in the States, and they charge you for everything, charge you for carry-on baggage, charge you to choose a seat, every kind of charges you can think of, right? But they're a budget airline, so if you know what you're doing or getting yourself into, it can be pretty good. But they let you do a personal item, and so it's a certain dimensions, like 18 by 12 by 8 or something like that. And so I did a video on how to pack for Spirit Airlines, and that's gotten I mentioned it on the other live streams, but it actually got I think it's up to I mentioned originally it was like 60,000. Actually, it's like a 30 some thousand, but still that's a lot for a really badly filmed video on low light with my GoPro, which is infamously bad, right? But yeah, but that one did so well, and so everyone's always looking for these kind of packing videos. So maybe I'll release that, how I'm packing, because I am going to be there for a month actually, and I'm flying Southwest, so I'm not worried too much about size of luggage. But it just kind of, yeah, that's a good angle of I'm about to work remotely, flying across country. What am I bringing? So I'm not bringing my M1 Mac Mini, but I am bringing my old MacBook Pro, but I'm bringing a portable monitor as well. So that'll be a good test on how I can bring my whole setup with me and work remotely as well. So yeah, I'll have a lot of early mornings so I can be on East Coast time here in the United States. Yeah. Anyway, I am rambling on, which means that I am coming to the end of my stream. Thanks for those who have been joining. Just want to say goodnight to Ash, and I hope everyone else is doing well. If you're watching this on the replay, again, if you can subscribe, that would be very appreciated. And yeah, and one more time for everyone in the United States, happy 4th of July. And I hope you had a good one. Hope you were able to barbecue at least. Thanks for joining me, Ash. Have a good night as well. And again, my name is Patrick. This is Everyday Tech for everyday people. And thanks for joining me on the stream. And I will see you next time. And I will see you in my videos as well. All right. See ya.